But that's what was eye-opening for me, is I realized this whole time it wasn't about which version of BioFreeze I was using. You know what I mean?
Right.
They all didn't work for me. You know, think about it on a pain scale. Okay, going for a walk. How much ability do you need for that? Okay, how much ability do you need for basketball? I was simply far, from that number needed for basketball. And a lot of guys are closer. They have decent ability, and so they get some pains, and the BioFreeze works wherever. I just had a much bigger gap.
Mm-hmm.
So then starting to look at Charles's stuff, and he was especially big on these numbers for the upper body. And that's where my career has kind of been devoted to just making that for the knees, And it was this like math system that just made me realize how pathetic I was, But that gave me so much hope.
Yeah.
That is the first time someone just illuminated for me, you're not that strong, in the right areas. You see what I mean? So, my career from that point has been dedicated to that stuff, and it's really gone through 3 distinct phases. The first phase, I just want to be able to play basketball without pain. Honestly, I contemplated giving up so many times. When I started experimenting with Charles' stuff, I would experiment in the morning, like 4 a.m. Then I would paint walls all day.
Mm-hmm.
I would put the CD player down. I would just be like alone with my thoughts, like trying to that's a weird, like go spend 10 hours painting walls with nothing to distract your mind. You might make a breakthrough that the world needs, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the secret of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Is life is all it's like coming in at it, Anyways, then I would go at night, be experimenting again. And it took some time because I couldn't even do, like, Mark, what you were talking about, That's why I'm the knees over toes guy, because I couldn't do knees over toes at all. So not only am I not trying to force people into, I was like one of the worst cases I've seen at that. You see what I mean? So that's what made me good at that. And I just wanted to be able to play without pain. So I kept doing it, testing. So, and let me give you the backstory of, if someone only listened to 10 seconds of this podcast, I think anyone would have come to the exact conclusions I had if you were so insane that you literally like still thought you were going to make the NBA. Like, to this day, I actually think I'm going to play in the NBA. To this day, I'm still that insane. And throughout this process, so finishing high school, if you get no college recruitment from any level, like, you're not going to the NBA. You know what I mean? But I was saving up to be able to go to one of these postgraduate, academies to like get my second shot to play. Okay, first year out of high school, I still couldn't even play basketball without my knees. Second, it was my third year out of high school. Saved up like $15,000 or whatever, went to one of these second chance academies, because by that point, from just trying to find these regressions, I could actually like play a little, and I didn't know what was going to happen. Was I going to go blow my knee out again? Or, well, sure enough, in season, I actually kept getting more athletic, and my knees felt better and better. Day one, and I'm paying my $15,000, right? And they have this like recruiting expert who's going to like help me get recruited. Mm-hmm. So he comes in like with a chart and like sits me down, like on a scale of 1 to 10. And it's all like 1s, 2s, 3s out of 10. And he basically is telling me like the strategy.
You're like, the lowest numbers are the best numbers, right?
This whole like layout of how much I suck in like every, like all these detailed categories. Man. But he tells me like, look, like, so we have to get this out of the way right now. Like it's not possible for you to get a scholarship, right? But what we can do is we can start like trying to use my academics to like get into a school, and I can pay and like be like that preferred guy, like on the end of the bench, like washing everyone's, underwear and stuff, So he tells me that on day one. I call up my dad, like tell him about it. And my dad's like, so what do you feel? I'm like, just lit a fire under me, man. Mm-hmm. I got a full ride scholarship that year.
Damn.
Guess who calls me up? The recruiting expert.
Thank you, Jessica Smith, for delivering us coffee. Appreciate it.
So I've already got the full ride scholarship. He calls me up, and I'm thinking he's going to like, tell me he was wrong or whatever. He is begging me not to take that. He's like, I know the school you're going to. He's like, you're never going to play a minute.
This man is
that
just
school.
Fucked up.
Right?
God.
Two-year starter, led my team to back-to-back conference titles, which they hadn't won in years. Ended up becoming their strength coach, and they had one of the most legendary runs in junior college history. Just dominance.
Wow.
Okay? These players were building VMOs and doing things that other teams weren't doing. Just they went like 8 straight conference titles or something. So my point is just that throughout every step and to this day, I think I'm going to the NBA. If you have no shot at going to the NBA and you legitimately believe you're going to the NBA, you're either going to just like, and with having already had 3 surgical alterations by the time I was 18, you're either going to fail horribly or you're going to figure some shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just could have given up so many times. I know I said that was going to be like a 10-second story, but
Dude,
so,
it was great though.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, that's just the underlying theme of it. So the first part of that was trying to just be able to play without my knees killing. You know what I mean? Like because let's say you play one day and then like you can't even get out and play the next day. Like you can't be a part of a team. You know what I mean? So that was phase 1, was just being able to play. Then the second phase was trying to get athletic enough to be able to play at a high level. You know? So, and now the third phase, man, right before Corona hit, I was feeling good. I was training NBA players. I have beat NBA players trying their hardest one-on-one. That doesn't mean you get to just go say, hey, can I have a tryout for the NBA? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And even part of my plan, even once I was beating NBA players one-on-one, I figured it'd be like in my, like almost 10 years from now, I figure would be having a shot at it, because some team will think, shit, we have 3 out of every 15 players can't even suit up for that game. That's the current stat. 20% like can't even suit up for the game. So if this guy can even improve that a little bit and save us one of those, my roster spot would be worth. Anyways, so that's my crazy plan. That's my current plan, is that
coach / player.
Right. Look, you have 15 guys. They're not all getting the game.
Yeah.
You could tell me, just like that recruiter told me, that I'm never going to play. Leave that to me. But I'll save you 1 or 2 injuries. So my spot will actually be worth more than 1/15.
How would you get a tryout? Like, because like you hear that sometimes. I remember the movie was made with Mark Wahlberg, where he tried out for like the Eagles, and he just was like, he just happened to run into somebody and he had a shot, and then he ended up being fucking awesome. And it worked out.
Well, like
how do you get a shot?
Like there's the D League, right, or G League?
G League.
Yeah, and it's never happened. Something like this has never happened in basketball. It's happened in football and some other sports where it is more physical, and they need a ton of guys on the roster and stuff. But yeah, my strategy is like, if I train high enough players, and again, if I'm in like my I'm turning 30 this year, so I was thinking in my late 30s, there was once this like Italian guy who was so smart about the game that they knew that he wouldn't be like his peak physically or whatever, but he would come in and like, and they signed him to the NBA like from Europe at like, he was like a 38-year-old rookie, because they knew he would like improve the IQ of the team and blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? So it's like, I feel like it'll take a while. And again, I know it's insane. It's not like my life is a failure if I don't do that. But the point is, I'm still training for that. So now I need not only to not have knee pain, not only to be really athletic, but now I have to have insane longevity. So that's really where my system is now, is I've got it down. My mom can do every single step of my system.
Yeah.
There's no exercise that she can't do. It's all levels, but it's all just levels of strength. You see what I mean? So that's kind of the evolution for me, is getting pain-free, getting athletic, and now having to be like, shit, now I have to hold on to this long enough that I'll be so wise that some team will give me a shot when I'm like damn near 40. You know what I mean? Look, if a team hired me right now, the team would do better. I would make the team healthier and they would do better. Every team I've worked with has done so much better. You know what I mean? But I realize it's like a long play. I have to keep running my career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's where I am right now. I'm still working on my NBA plan, that I started when I was 5.